Hi, welcome back to Mirror Expressions. Please drop down in the comment a mirror emoji if you have looked in the mirror today and you feel A1 with what you see looking back. And if not, as always, I express to you to please take any avenue that you must to get back to a healthier you. That can be maybe some type of therapy, some shopping. I mean, if that's your thing, some meditation, yoga, maybe just hanging out with a good friend, get you a good kiki in, whatever that is though. Do what it takes to make sure that you are a healthier version of yourself so that when you look in that mirror, you are good with what you see looking back. All right, today, y'all, we are reviewing and recapping American Horror Stories, season 2. This is episode 3, and the name of it is called Drive. All right, so we open up seeing two friends. They're Piper and Marcy. They're out at this nightclub, and so Marcy meets this guy named Wyatt while he's at the bar, right? And they had him a good old time. And next thing you know, we seeing Marcy and the Wyatt guy hooking up in the backseat of her car, right? And so at the end, he's just like, "Is this the part where you tell me to get your number and you call me and you want more because you all say that um this is what y'all want, and y'all end up having more expectations than what you initially say up front, right?" And so she's like, "No, I only want one thing from you, and that's for you to get the F out my car," right? And so, and they say, we just see her getting herself together, like a lipstick and all that. And so she's driving off, right? And as she's driving on the expressway, there's a car that's following her, and it's flashing its lights, on bright beams, like flashing at the back of her, just constantly flashing. It's laying in onto the horn of the car, right? And then it starts ramming her a couple of times. And so she all of a sudden stops real fast, turns around and ducks off into this car wash. So the car that's following her, stops, tries to turn around, tries to go back and find her. Well, they couldn't find her, right? And so eventually we just see her making it to her home. And so we know at least that she is okay. And so she's at the house and she's telling Chaz, who we learn out of all things is her husband. And she's telling Chaz all about the night and what had happened. And because apparently they're in an open relationship. So Chaz is just like, I really get worried about you. And maybe, I should come along with you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking like, what kind of open relationship is this? Like, you finna help her go find her somebody else to screw? Like, I'm just like, okay. So later on at night, it was like 3 in the morning, Marcy starts to hear something. So we see her get up out her bed and God start going through the house trying to explore and find out where this noise was coming from, right? And so after investigating it, she doesn't see anything. So the next day, Marcy meets up with Piper again. And Piper is just telling her that she needs to be more safe because apparently there have been a rash of people missing, right? And Piper even brings up this urban legend where there was a woman going home by herself, and then this guy starts to follow her right in his car and was basically doing the same thing, flashing the high beams, honking on the horn, ramming into the back of her. Well, end up, as the urban legend goes, that the guy was just trying to warn her because he saw somebody in the back of the lady's vehicle. And the lady ended up being unalived by whoever had been in the back of her vehicle. He had slit her throat and then put it on the front of her car like as a trophy. So that's the urban legend, right? So Marcy is just like, she ain't studying no urban legend, but she promises Piper that she won't be screwing any more guys in the backseat of her car, right? So the next time they go out, Piper basically catches Marcy screwing a woman this time in the car, right? So Piper knocking on the window. So Marcy tells the woman, "You got to go, and you got to go right now." And I'm thinking like, "Well, dang, is Marcy screwing Piper too?" Because the way she set that woman off was like, but end up they not screwing, but Piper was just really concerned about her friend. She's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, is something wrong with you? Are you a sex addict? Are you making up from your younger years? Like, what is it? Because this is not healthy. This is not what normal people do. And she was like, and plus you promised me that you would not be screwing nobody in the back of your car anymore. And here go Marcy. She all been a smart ass. I said I wouldn't screw another guy in the back of my car. There was a woman, and I was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so they get into it. Piper runs off, and Marcy, she goes back into the club, and she's walking around doing her thing, probably trying to scope out her next person she want to screw or whatever, and she runs into Chaz. Like, why is Chaz always popping up? But anyway, Chaz is like, yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to watch you and keep an eye out because I'm worried about you. And so she's just like, either you leave or I'm gonna leave. So, you know, we see Marcy leaving the club, and as she's leaving, she sees the car that had been following her the night before. So she goes over to look at the car, and sure enough, it's the car because she could tell by the front of the car. And but just as she was probably trying to maybe get the tags or whatever, the guy that owns the car comes out of the club. He gets into the car, so Marcy hops into her car and decides to follow him. And I'm just like, girl, why are you doing this? This is not the bravest thing to do. Why not just call the police or something at that point? Because you clearly could see the damage on the front of his car. You got damage on the back of your car, and you know what I'm saying. But anyway, she starts to follow the guy, and she ends up getting the tags as she's following him. So she did that. She got the tag number, she wrote it down, whatever, and she takes it back to her house. And so she's on the computer trying to look up the tags and see who it comes back to. She gets his name. And so meanwhile, she's doing all this, her husband Chaz come in, and he's like, basically, look, I can't do this. I'm tired of this. I can't be in this type of relationship anymore. I'm done. I'm going to get an apartment, and then we can figure out where we want to go from there. And Marcy was just kind of like, no. But at the same time, she didn't really say distraught about it. She just kept on doing what she was doing. So she ended up finding the name of the guy. And from there, she Googled the name. She found out where this guy works, right? And she goes to the man's job. So, of course, she also has seen pictures of him, right? So she goes to the man's job, and he works in like this cutlery store selling knives or whatever. So she goes in acting like she wants to buy a cutlery set. And so she actually starts talking to the guy. The guy doesn't know that it was her who was in the car, right? And so she just starts making small talk, and then you know they're talking about this knife set. And so it's kind of creepy because he was just like, oh, this will be a good knife to off your boyfriend with. And she's just like, I don't have a boyfriend, I have a husband. And you know, so she makes sure to make it known that she has a husband. And here you go, well, it's good for him too. It can work on husbands too, I guess, you know. So it was just a weird type of interaction. Nevertheless, she was just like, okay, I'm gone. I got what I need to. But then in the next scene, we see this wench don't follow him to his house. Who does that? Like, girl, what are you doing? So she don't follow the man to his house, right? She goes in, and he doesn't know because he's off in the shower, right? So she goes in, and the one thing she sees, he has like this wall of just like newspaper clippings of all the missing women that had been gone missing lately. You know, like remember I told you in the beginning, her friend was worried because there had been a rash of missing women. So it's kind of leading you up to think that this guy has something to do with it, right? He up here with selling these knives, talking about you can do stuff with them to off people with. He don't follow this woman in his car. Now you see this wall of newspaper clippings, like, so yeah. So you thinking it was him, right? So all of a sudden you hear the water cut off. So she hides. She doesn't leave. She hides. He gets out and he gets dressed or whatever, and from what we think, he's about to leave the apartment. So he goes, and you hear a door and all this stuff closed, but the man didn't really leave, so she don't know this. So she comes out of hiding, and then it's like, boo, what are you doing in my house? You know. So she got a knife in her hand, and he holding like a baseball bat. So they kind of like at a standoff, and she's like, I'm the one you followed the other night from the nightclub. Like, why were you following me? Like, what's your problem? And so he's just like, oh, you're that woman. I remember you. I noticed you. You came into my store today. She was like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's your problem. Why are you following me? So the guy comes to find out. He said he followed her, goes back to the urban legend, the same thing. He said he saw somebody in the back of her car, and with all the things about the missing women, he thought that she was in jeopardy of becoming the next missing person. So when he saw that guy in the back of her car, he was like, no, I gotta be a good Samaritan and put an end to all of this. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I followed you and I was trying to warn you. There was somebody in the back of your car. And so she lets her guard down. She's like, no, no, there wasn't. She put the knife down and everything. And so she get all seductive and pretty much like, you know, we don't know each other, but this is funny how we've kind of met now, you know. So she trying to, you know, push all up on him. And in that moment, all you thinking was, oh, she's just trying to screw old buddy now. She trying to screw him. And I'm also thinking, but why you laying your guard down? Because something ain't right with this man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's funny how his story lined exactly up with this urban legend. So she go in like she finna kiss the guy. So he try to push up back up on her. So when he does, she turns around, stabs the dude in the neck with a needle, right? A syringe. I don't know, and it was just filled with some medicine, like some kind of tranquilizer that they use on animals. I said, oh, she the one the whole time, right? So she knocks him out. And so we start getting these flashbacks of what really happened the night he followed her. So the guy that she had screwed that night, the one she just told, no, that's one thing I want from you, and that's for you to get the F out of my car, right? Well, when he turned around to get out the car, she did the same thing to him. Stuck that needle down in his neck, and he passed out. She had tied him up, had his mouth taped up. Well, he kept trying to pop up. He was laid out in the back seat, and as he was coming through, he kept trying to pop up. So that was the guy that he was seeing in the car. But of course, you know, it was dark, and when you got the lights coming into a dark place, you can't see all that. So he couldn't see that the guy was bound at his hands and by his mouth. All he saw was a guy. And so he thought the guy had snuck into the back seat of her car. And he really was trying to warn her. And so here we are, fast forward. So she just done did that to this guy. Done put the needle straight in his neck. But it didn't knock him out. It didn't do nothing for him, basically. He ended up starting choking her. So they in a big tussle. And he about to choke that girl out. And next thing you know, here comes Chaz. Why Chaz always popping up this after blue, right? So Chaz knocks the man out cold. And then we see Chaz telling Marcy that she needs to try something a little stronger next time. So I'm just like, what in the Bonnie and Clyde does Chaz and Marcy have going on? they are here in cahoots, apparently, you know. So next thing we just see them together, meaning Chaz and Marcy, and he's trying to convince her just to rest, and she's like, "No, I got things to do." So she goes down to the basement, and we see old homeboy all tied up in the basement, and she's basically saying that she tells him what was what, and then cause she likes to tell the people like what they're about to go through. Right, so she just down there torturing him. He all bound up. He got a ball and gag in his mouth, his hands and his feet tied up. And so she gut him up with this big old claw looking thing. She cuts him. She you know, I'm just like, oh my goodness. So she says she does this to clean up humanity from all the misogynistic pigs and the people that are just have ill attention toward other people. And I'm thinking like, oh child, you got some serious issues. And then she about to slit his throat, right? Because she said normally she takes a while, and I guess she likes to just torture him a little bit longer, but she's like, no, I'm just gonna go and get this over with, right? And right before she cuts his throat, she was just like, no, wait a minute, this is all wrong. And so instead she takes it and just sticks it in his head and kills him. And then she runs upstairs though to her husband, and she's just like, we've been doing it wrong. I got a brilliant idea. So basically what they had been doing, the equation was she offs the people and he buries them, right? And she was just like, I got a brilliant idea. We should be offing them together. And I know the perfect person to start with. Y'all, my heart sank because I already knew who it was finna be that she was going to volunteer. And sure enough, it was Piper. Old black girl had to go and get off just like the rest of them. I said, well, doggone. Because all we see in the next rolling clip is that Piper was down in that basement. She was bound and gagged. And then the both of them together, Marcy and Chaz, just go at her at the same time. And that was how the episode ended. So this episode, it was okay. I will have to admit that it just felt a little flat for me. You know, it did have its twists and turns. And like I said, because at one point I still was not thinking it was the lady. Even though I felt like she had some serious issues, I still was thinking it was the guy from the cutlery store, which I should not have known because it was just too obvious that so many clues were pointing at him. But yeah, it still felt a little flat for me. So, but let me know what you thought. Like, did you enjoy this episode? I still say as of right now, number 1 was my favorite one. Episode 2 would have been my next, and this will be my least favorite. But anyways, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, get in the chat. Let's talk about things. And until next time, y'all, I pray for you, you pray for me, and what? All right, y'all. Bye.